Jefferson County Court Law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session and cause number 23CCCR 0225. Case is filed the state of Texas versus Bryce Smith. Let the record reflect that Mr. Smith is present in court with his attorney Peter Gall. Let the record also reflect that the state is present with assistant district attorneys, attorney Andrew Hero and attorney Sarah Staub. State, are you ready?
One matter before announcing ready, Your Honor. The state would like to invoke rule.
Okay. At this time, the rule has been invoked. Are there any witnesses in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have those witnesses to come forward. Okay. Ma'am, would you please state your full name?
Carolyn Denise Smith.
Carolyn Smith.
Yes.
And sir, would you please state your full name?
David Smith.
David Smith. Okay, now Mr. Smith and Ms. Smith. Mrs. Smith, would you please raise your right hand? Now, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, now you may put your hands down. The rule has been invoked, and what that basically means, once the rule is invoked, you are ordered to leave the courtroom and not re-enter unless instructed to do so by the bailiff or me. You are not to discuss this case or your testimony with other witnesses or anyone else except the attorneys in the case. And you're not to read any reports or comments or make any testimony or evidence in this case. Any witness who violates this instruction is subject to being held in contempt of court. And if a person is held in contempt of court, they could be put in jail up to 6 months and be given a fine up to $500. Okay. So at this time, you can follow the bailiff and leave the courtroom. And then when they are ready for you, they'll call you in one at a time.
Yeah, I need some water or something.
Okay, you wait, oh wait. I don't know if they have any soda back there. Anybody else need any water or anything?
No.
Okay. He needs some.
The
Give him little bottles. That's in
Okay.
there.
Thank you.
You need some? Make for those two and then make it 3. Yes. Thank you. Just stay outside until the bailiff come get you.
Might need to talk to you.
Okay, just hold on a minute.
All right.
we didn't.
Ms. Mosby, hold on a minute. Okay, you may be seated. Let the record reflect that the court is back in session and calls number 23CCCR 0225. Case is filed, the state of Texas versus Bryce Smith. Let the record reflect that Mr. Smith is present in court with his attorney, Attorney Peter Dahl. The state is present with Assistant District Attorney, Attorney Andrew Hubel, and Attorney Sarah Saab. Let the record reflect that the jury is also present and seated in the courtroom. Mr. Hubel, you can call your next witness.
State calls Officer Catherine Garris. She's in the warden's room.
You said Catherine Garris.
What's that?
Garris,
GA1.
2 orders. IS.
Officer Garris, would you please come forward? Officer Garris, would you please raise your right hand? Officer Garris, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Mr. Garris, you may take a seat in the witness stand. You can adjust the chair and the microphone once the mic cover is placed on the. Attorney Hubel, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, Officer Garris.
Okay.
Could you introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Officer Terrence. I work for Beaumont PD. I've been there for 5 years.
And what kind of training and experience do you have in the field of law enforcement?
I've been with Beaumont 5 years. For the last 2 years, I've been a field training officer, which is means that I train new recruits.
Okay. So what can you explain your current duties?
Right now, I work on 4th Watch Patrol, which means I work from 4 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. I'm on patrol right now, which means that I answer calls for service and do proactive policing like traffic stops and pedestrian stops.
And on the evening of February 10th, 2023, were you on a similar watch?
I was on the same watch.
Okay. And did you respond to a call in reference to disturbance that evening? Do you recall where you responded to that call?
I responded to 2940 South.
And that's in Beaumont, Texas,
That is in Beaumont.
which is also in Jefferson County.
It is.
Do you recall the nature of that disturbance?
I remember it was a disturbance in which the complainant called in reference to her son coming to her house.
And was an offense committed there?
Yes.
What was that offense?
I did my report as the offense of burglary.
And did you later learn that the case was filed by our office as an assault?
Yes.
Now, when you arrived on the scene, did you speak to the complaining witness?
I did speak to the complainant when I arrived.
And is that Miss Eureka Edwards?
It is.
Did Miss Edwards report that an offense occurred at the residence?
She did report that an offense occurred.
Did she report who committed that offense?
Miss Edwards reported that her son, Bryce Smith, committed the offense.
Now, did you take a witness statement from Miss Edwards?
I left Miss Edwards a witness statement to complete to return later.
Okay. And while you were doing so, did you turn on your body cam?
Yes, my mother came on the phone.
Okay. Permission to approach?
Yes, may I proceed?
I'm showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit number 9. Do you recognize it?
Yes,
Okay, can you tell me what it is?
it's a flash drive of my body camera.
Okay, and this, that device, the body worn camera, is one that's capable of making accurate, recordings,
Yes,
and you're a competent operator of that device.
correct.
And this recording itself is an accurate copy with no alterations,
Yes,
and it's a fair and accurate, depiction of the events that occurred that night.
yes.
At this point, the state would publish the defense for objection.
Okay. No objection, that's State's Exhibit number 9.
Yes,
No objection, State's Exhibit number 9 will be admitted.
permission to publish to the jury.
You may publish it to the jury.
You know. Excuse me. Does it have sound?
He does that.
Could you, not play it with the sound? Well, you can show the thing.
I mean,
the
The object, the video has been admitted in its entirety.
Right. So if the jury will have to do the material, they be able to read the sound.
Right.
Um, Going to continue questioning for a moment.
Okay.
Um, So when speaking with Ms. Edwards, did you yourself notice any, physical signs of bodily injury?
I observed she had a scratch on her chest and her shirt, the collar of her shirt was torn.
Based on these observations, did you call out an ID tech, to take photographs of those injuries?
I did call an ID tech to photograph her injuries.
Were there others, present at the scene?
Officer Martin was also present. He also worked on Fourth Watch with me.
But other than law enforcement, were there other individuals present?
There were other individuals.
Do you recall who they were?
I believe there was a female who was the child's mother of Bryce Smith. Child.
The mother of Bryce Smith's child.
Correct.
Do you recall her name?
I do not recall her name.
Did you speak to her regarding, what happened?
I believe I spoke.
Objective, Judge, you're saying agent.
He just asked that she speak, he didn't ask what she said.
Right.
Objection overruled.
Did you take a statement from Miss One that night?
From who?
I'm sorry, from the mother of Bryce Smith's child.
I do not recall. As a student.
Okay. So, was what the mother of Bryce Smith's child told you substantially similar to what you had heard from Miss Edwards?
That would be a characterization, but she's still asking what she said, and I was still objecting to hear.
Objection sustained.
So did you ever see the defendant, Mr. Bryce Smith, at the residence that night?
I did not see him there.
And, but based on the information gathered and the evidence you observed there, did you believe that there was probable cause, that Miss Edwards had been the victim of an assault?
I would object to her asking a police officer what probable cause is. It's a legal decision.
If the court would like, I can rephrase.
Okay, you can rephrase, objection sustained, please rephrase your question.
Did you believe that Miss Edwards had been the victim of an assault that night?
I did believe she had been.
And And again, based on the same information gathered and evidence observed, did you believe that the set assault was committed by Bryce Smith?
Based on what information I had, I believe, yes, it was.
But you were not able to make an arrest of Mr. Smith that night.
Correct.
Is this because he was absent from the residence at that point?
Mr. Smith, was never at the residence from the time I got there to the time I left.
Yeah, but from the time that you got there. Okay. So at that point, did you conclude your investigation of this case?
Yeah.
Looking at what's on the screen right now, which is the video from State's Exhibit number 9, do you recognize the individuals depicted in that video?
I believe that's Mrs. Edwards on the left. And then the female on the couch would be the mother of Bryce Smith's child.
It doesn't appear that the video is playing audio over the on the big TVs, but whenever the jury reviews the video, we should be able to hear the audio. So at this point, Ms. Edwards has gone to the back to fill out a statement. Is that correct?
Correct.
But you did not collect the statement that night,
Correct.
correct? She filled the statement out, or, well, how was that statement recovered from her?
So, since I left the statement, I just wrote the phone number for our dispatch on the top of it and advised her she could call and have someone pick it up or drop it off later at a later date.
Okay. Did you also shortly speak to a male that was present, there at the residence?
I do not recall.
What we have is.
It's not if I stand here.
That's right.
Yes, I can
Yeah,
see
okay, yeah,
it.
if you can get a better view. Okay. Is that it? Oh, yeah, that's it. How do you take it off? I'm trying to think. Is it on? Yeah, that, she has the, remote. Is it the speakers? Okay, I hear something. Speakers.
Her injuries. 278. What was it, just, you come here? Okay. Yeah. Want to? Here. Want to choose something. And you don't have to do this right now. You have to make it. This is the phone number, if you call this number, it's go pick it up. That way you can. And then. You know, if you don't want to do it right this moment, we can things settle down, we can do it. But just, you know, your information, then what happened here, if you need extra room, just go to the back and sign. But they'll pick it up from as long as you're involved. Okay. And then someone's coming to photograph your picture, okay? And your shirt. Y'all see him,
So the individual speaking, you know, and in what's states, marks as states exhibit number 9. Do you recognize them?
I don't remember who he is.
All right. And at that point, his video was ending, he would have investigated. Thank you very much. State, please. State has no lead.
Mr. Dahl, you may proceed.
Yes, sir. If I understood you right, from the time you got there to the time you left, Mr. Smith wasn't there.
He was not there from the time I arrived to when I left.
So in your own personal knowledge, you don't know anything that happened before you got there.
Only know what happened based on what I was told.
Okay, that's not your personal.
Correct.
So you wouldn't have any personal knowledge after you left, because would have been there.
Correct.
No further questions?
Mr. Hubel,
No further questions from the state.
may this witness be excused?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Officer Garris, you are excused. The rule has been invoked. Do not talk to anyone else about this case unless you talk to the attorneys who are involved with this case. If you violate the rule, obviously you can be held in contempt of court. So at this time, you're excused. Thank you for coming, and you have a blessed day. You're welcome. Mr. Hubel, you can call your next witness.
It was, Carol Hardroger.
Carol who?
Hardroger.
Hardbroke?
Hardroger.
Hardbroker.
Carol Hardroger. Carol Hardroger.
Hardbroker, would you please come forward? Ms. Hardbroker, please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may put your hand down, Hardbroker. Take the witness stand, adjust this chair. And after she put the mic cover on there, you can just adjust the mic. Ms. Huber, you may go forward.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hardroger. Can you introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, my name is Carol Hardroger. I'm an ID tech at the Belmont Police Department.
And considering that you're an IT tech, what training, experience, and education are required for you to?
I don't have a formal degree, but of course you can get one in criminal justice or forensics. Most of my training is on the job.
And what are your general duties as an IT tech?
We're called to crime scenes, and that can be anything like this small, so to speak, as a criminal mischief, where maybe somebody damages your car to a homicide. We're called to process the scene, which would be to document whatever the scene or whoever the scene consists of, with photographs, collect evidence, anything that may be of an evidentiary value to that case.
Were you performing those duties on the evening of February 10th, 2023?
Yes,
And in performing those duties, did you respond to a call to 2940 South Street in Beaumont, Texas?
yes, I did.
Okay. And that's in Jefferson County?
Yes.
So do you recall why you were called out to that location?
It was in reference to an assault family violence call.
Okay. And was the event ongoing when you were called out, or had that event passed?
No, the officers responded after, they responded, they get there first when the initial call to 911 is made. And then, once they've done their investigation, they call for me.
Okay, so you did not personally witness anything?
I did not.
Any of the, events for the offense? Did you meet with the complaining witness when you, went to the residence?
I did,
And that was Miss Eureka Edwards?
yes,
And she was still at the 29, 40 address when you were ready to take those pictures?
yes,
Okay. And did you take pictures of Miss Edwards?
I did.
Have permission to approach?
Yes, you may approach the witness.
I'm showing you, what's been marked as states exhibits 1 through 8. Can you identify for me what's in the pictures? Or what the pictures are of?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
These are pictures of the injuries to the complainant after the incident.
And you recognize them as the ones you took?
Yes, I do.
They're with no alterations?
No,
And the images that are depicted in those pictures, they match up to the description that they gave in your report?
they do, yeah.
Okay. And after these photos were taken, did that conclude your involvement with the investigation of this case?
Yes, it did.
Because
Mr. Dahl?
Yes, sir. You could be busy. How many times do you would work a week?
I work 4 shifts in a work week, unless I'm called in to assist on something else.
Each one of them 6 hours long?
10
Yeah.
minimum.
So you take 20 pictures a night?
Some nights more, some nights less.
With this 20 good average?
Rough estimate.
So you do that 5 nights, 4 nights a week,
Yes, sir.
20, 50 weeks a year, 50 weeks off.
Unless I'm taking some time off.
$4,000 a year.
I'm not a mathematician, but I take a lot of pictures.
You do.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And so your memory of that is based on your connection to a case created. If I go jumped over a file somewhere at your office, you wouldn't remember right offhand, or do you have that kind of memory?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I have pretty good recall for something that happened a year or 2 ago. So other times not so good.
Okay.
And I do have to refer to my.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. No further question.
Mr. Hubert?
no further questions?
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
May she be excused?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Hargroder, thank you for being here today. You are excused. The rule has been invoked, and basically what that means, you cannot talk to any other witnesses. And if you talk to any other witnesses, you'll be in violation of this rule. And if you're in violation of the rule, you could be held in contempt of court. Okay, so at this time, you're excused. Thanks for coming, and you have a blessed day. Mr. Hubble, you can call your next witness.
This time state for us.
Okay. State is rested. Mr. Dahl,
We can do it today, maybe. Do you want to stay? Because I don't think it's to be done in an hour.
Oh, okay, you say you don't think it could be done in an hour.
Yeah, I have.
You're talking about the witness?
Yeah,
You
I
have
have-
two
I have
witnesses?
two witnesses. Maybe three. Will, but.
We can we can do one witness, at least start on one.
Okay.
Okay. The bailiff, just get the witness, the bailiff will get the witness for you.
What's the name?
Carolyn Smith.
Carolyn Smith. She was one of the ones we already swore in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Smith, you can come forward. Ms. Smith, you can come forward. You've already been sworn in. We swore you in earlier and we invoked the rule. Would you please take the witness stand? And you can adjust the chair, and you will also be able to adjust the mic once the mic cover is placed on it. Yeah, you could adjust the mic. And Mr. Dahl, you may proceed.
Please state your name and address.
Carolyn Denise Smith, 2210 Rampart, phone Texas 77705.
What's your relationship to Bryce Smith?
My son,
Do you understand what we're here today? Trial, he's getting accused of crime. He's your son?
yes,
So how long have you known him? All this 25 years?
yes. I brought him home from the hospital.
In the world in which we live in, people can adopt through a formal legal process. Did you give birth to him?
No, I did not.
So you adopted him?
We didn't go through the courts or anything, but
There's an equitable adoption, in Texas.
Okay.
So you took him from the time of his birth,
yes,
you raised him.
yes,
Is it because you knew the mother?
yes.
What's the mother's name?
Eureka Harris.
And explain how that came about.
Okay, so my mother, she passed away, but before that, Eureka was pregnant and she wanted to abort the baby, but she was 7 months pregnant and they would not allow her to abort the baby. And so what happened, my mama and and Eureka's husband talked, and she said, don't abort him and don't put him in the system. I know somebody that wants a baby. And she said, give him to Denise, and that's me. And so she said, well, she can sure have him. She said, because Eric said if I had another baby, he was gonna leave me. And so that's how I end up with Bryce. When Bryce was, I told my work people, I said, okay, I'm gonna have a baby coming and I'm gonna need maternity leave. They let me take maternity leave and everything. I got 6 weeks off with him. And I brought him home from the hospital. I would go every day to the hospital. Well, let me back up. When she got ready to go into labor, Eric called me and said, your baby is about to be born. And so I said, okay, I'm leaving.
Eric's her husband?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I go to the hospital, and after I go to the hospital, she had the baby. I held him and played with him for a little while. Then after that, every day until he went home from the hospital, I would go 3 times a day. I would go in the morning, at lunch, and at supper time to feed him. So this one day, I was a little bit late getting to the hospital, and I've always heard that.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to object to relevance. and as well as yours.
Objection sustained.
On
Okay,
the basis of relevance?
she's testifying in the narrative. I think that was one of the other objections. Right.
They don't want you to just talk, they want me to answer a question.
Okay.
Okay. I think where you were when he objected was you were at the hospital and you were going to the hospital 3 times a day.
Yes,
And you did that for how long?
as long as he was there,
And how long was that? You know?
3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days?
Yes,
And then you brought him home?
yes,
And his, her name is Eureka?
yes,
Eureka gave the baby to you
yes,
and told you to raise the baby?
yes,
Because she didn't want the baby
yes,
for whatever reason.
because they couldn't afford it, or because they didn't, because if she had another baby, Eric was gonna leave her. And she didn't want that to happen.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up with Frank.
And you raised it.
Yes, I have.
And he's 25
25.
years old now. So you raised him for the 25 years?
Yes, I did.
You've always considered him to be your son?
Yes, I am.
And he's always considered you to be his mother?
Yes,
And he's always considered your husband to be his father?
yes,
And in that sense, that's your family?
yes.
You don't have any other kids?
Yes, I have one son.
And how old is he?
He's 42.
And what's his name?
Jeremy Smith.
Did you just want another kid or
I just want another one.
you want another one?
Yeah.
Because that would be 12 years older.
Yes,
So if he's your kid and you're his mother,
yes.
how do you think that, Eureka,
Yes.
how does Eureka claim him as her, in her family?
I assume that she'll claim him, she claimed that he's her nephew, but some things went on and, his girlfriend had a baby, or 2 babies.
We're just talking about the family relationship.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
You don't see how she claimed him as her mother. Is that
No, I don't.
what you-
He
Accurate?
never claimed him as her son.
Never did?
No,
Did you work all this time? You did work?
Yes.
What did you do as a?
I was, work at Section 8,
Where?
Section 8, Beaumont Housing Authority.
Oh, what you do there?
I was the assistant, well, I had several jobs. I was the, assistant Section 8 supervisor, and then I was a caseworker first, and then the Section 8 supervisor.
That's how you employed, but you raised him.
Yes.
And you can tell the whole world you raised him.
Yes, I did. I will.
No further question?
Mr. Hubel?
Briefly, Ryan.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Ms. Knott.
Hi.
So the institution of adoption is a wonderful thing. But one thing that I did want to make clear, is, Eureka Edwards is Bryce Smith's biological mother. Is that correct?
She brought him to the world.
You are the mother who raised him.
Yes.
But Eureka Edwards is still the blood relative of Bryce Smith.
I don't consider that.
So you would not say, so you would say that despite the fact that, Ms. Edwards is, Mr. Smith's biological mother, they're not blood relative?
I feel like if you give somebody up, how could that be possible?
I'm asking specifically genetically.
Yes.
Um, just one other question. If it was found that your son did do something wrong, he would need to be punished, right? Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
Okay, no further questions.
Mr. Dahl, you have any questions?
Not to be too repetitive, is your son,
Yes,
and your is not.
yes.
No further questions.
Mr. Huber,
No questions.
may this witness be excused?
Yes, as far as I'm.
Okay. Ms. Smith, you may be excused. We just would like to remind you that the rule has been invoked and you are not allowed to talk to any other witnesses about your case. You can't talk to the attorneys. And if you violate the rule, you can be held in contempt of court. Okay? Thanks for coming and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Okay, please follow the bailiff.
I'm sorry. Bryce Smith.
Bryce Smith. Okay, Mr. Smith. Come forward. Mr. Smith, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Smith, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Smith, you may put your hand down. Mr. Smith, you can take the witness stand and adjust the chair and the bailiff will gonna help you with the mic cover. Yeah, we get it. He has it on his table. Okay, Mr. Dahl, you may proceed.
State your name and address.
Bryce Smith, and I stay at, 335 Waverly Drive, Waverly Street, on my Texas, 777
And you're the defendant.
Yes, sir.
You've been accused of crime
Yes, sir.
and crime is assault.
Yes, sir.
Right? We've been through you and I have been through the element.
Yeah. I
want to say when family. And then I just want to touch on the other. Okay?
Okay.
All right. That night, but that night you drove over to this
Eureka Harris.
Eureka Harris house.
Yes, sir.
Right? Did you go there because somebody told you, or because you decided to go there?
Oh, I was informed to go there, that my baby mom wanted me to come there and see my kids, and that this was a good time to go.
And what's your name?
Taylor Wayne.
So you went over there because Taylor went home.
Yes, sir.
You got there.
Yes, sir.
Did you go in the house?
I didn't get a chance to go into the house. That I saw that this situation was to literally end me up here, to the point to where I got there and they know that my kids is my heartstrings. So I get there and it's nothing. So I had no choice but to go hurt this whole
So this was, you feel like you were set up or something?
point.
You went there because somebody asked you to go there.
Yeah.
So I got there, they weren't receptive to you.
Yeah, I instantly thought that this was a setup and I got scared. Like, I can't afford this due to the fact that I have to be in my kids' life. Like, that's the most important to me, regardless of anything else that's going on.
So you and not, what's, her name's Wynn?
Taylor, yeah, she
Taylor.
contacted me saying
Right, but
that,
she was in the room when you got there,
oh, yeah, she was in the living room, but I didn't get a chance to go in.
but she left your vision or left the room or started to leave the room or something.
Oh, I'm not aware.
I mean, is that true?
I'm not aware I wasn't inside yet.
Oh, so you don't know?
Yeah, I don't know.
So all you know is you had Eureka,
Yeah,
and she did not want you to come in the house,
yeah.
all right? So you and her got into discussion.
Yeah, we were just talking on the porch mainly though. Like, and then once I saw the vibe of this is going to, the vibe of this is not what it seems to be, that this is a smoke screen for me to get in trouble, I instantly just had to leave.
And you and her, before you left, became an argument?
No, it was just a disagreement. I didn't go back and forth. I know how women are. I know how this situation is. So I simply just said, okay, and just left. Thanks for wasting my time and left.
Now over here, what I talked to you about, said I'm gonna put this to the side for you. Where's your mother?
Terrence, did he Smith?
And she's later to just testify.
Oh, yes, sir.
And who's your father?
David Smith.
You've been with them since you were born, just after you were born?
Yes, sir.
And you've been with them your whole life?
Yes, sir.
You don't know about the legalities, but those are your parents.
Yes, sir.
And Eureka is not your parent. She's a lady, but she's not your mother.
At most, she's the person I went to church with. That's all I know her from. It's the lady that was at church.
We were talking that in 25 years, you've seen her except in passing,
Besides Sundays or
maybe 20 times? 40?
at least 20 times with church.
Okay, that's it.
Outside of church, not at all.
Did you spend the night there with her? Because I guess you're.
I spent a night there twice in my life and it was horrific. And I never went back.
For the question,
Mr. Hubel?
Mr. Smith. During your testimony just now, you admitted that you did go to the residence at 2940 South Street in Beaumont, Texas,
Yes, sir.
on the evening of February 10th,
Yes, sir.
And you also know Eureka. She's not a stranger to you.
No, she's but she's not a stranger.
And are you, in your, sorry, let me rephrase. Was Eureka Edwards your birth mother?
I don't generally know that information or the truth behind that, so I can't really do that after.
Okay.
What I'm told in my family stories, and yeah, that's my biological mother.
Okay. And you admit that you were there, but you said that you never went in and that you did not assault Miss Edwards.
Yes.
So, let me ask you this. Did her injuries disappear out of nowhere?
No, I'm pretty sure it happened after I left. With
So Miss Wynn called you over. But did you have permission to be there from Miss Edwards?
from Miss Edwards.
Yes.
Taylor and Miss Edwards were on the phone like to come. She encouraged me to come. Because Taylor is the middle guardian to this like to my daughter. Taylor and Miss Edwards were the middle ground to my daughter. Taylor stopped letting Miss Carolyn see my daughter, so this is the only way I have access to her. So I'm contacting both to get that arranged, and that's how we go about it.
The bottom line is,
So yes, so she did allow me to come there with Taylor. And that's why they both were there. This was just there.
you do admit that you were there that night. The disagreement as to facts is whether or not when is arrested. Correct?
You asking if I went inside?
No, I'm asking where what you're saying diverges from what Ms. Edwards saying, is that you just didn't go inside.
Yeah, I didn't go inside.
you were explaining sort of the custody situation with you and your daughter. And you described Miss Edwards as the middle ground.
At one point, she was, Taylor bounces back and forth between parents and both my,
So someone that you known maybe 20 to that you spent time with maybe 20 to 40 times, usually just going to church. Why would that person be the middle ground between?
well, I
you
don't
and
have
someone
any
else?
choice on who Taylor dictates on being the mediator. That's the issue at hand. That I have a voice, I could be a parent, but the mom always is gonna have the upright on the decision that she wants to make, so she thought that was best fit. She's now cut off and now dealing back with my parents, Mrs. Carolyn Smith that's in here, that's who has my kids now. That's the new mediator for the situation. So I never intended for her to be the mediator. I never wanted my child in that environment due to the fact of how possibly could this be a great environment, or let alone an environment to where these
Again-
people gave me away.
Again, you call her the mediator of the situation, and it feels it's odd that someone that you have that little personal experience with is the mediator in that situation. Would you agree with that?
We're church members. I mean, we're Christian. I don't, if she's a Christian, we see that's fit. Like, my beliefs is she won't do harm to my kids. So, I mean, and let alone if I have say so, Taylor has the entire say so in the situation.
State has no further questions.
Mr. Dalton?
I don't want to beat that though. Okay. Your mother, and who,
Terrence, man,
and she's been your mother,
for 25 years,
your father is who,
David Smith,
you told me he's been your father.
my entire life.
So the brief moments you had with her intermittently over 25 years, plus the fact that she gave you birth, those are the only reasons there's a contact between you and her.
So,
And if people don't have money to go to a lawyer to get a proper adoption, doesn't change the facts that exist on the ground. You agree with that?
yes, sir.
And your mother is,
Terrence Smith,
and your
David,
father is, and your father is.
David Smith.
No further question.
Mr. Hewlett?
Not from the state.
Okay, Mr. Smith, you may step down. Mr. Dahl, you have any other witnesses?
Mike, gonna have like a minute with my client.
Okay.
Progress.
Okay. State, you have any rebuttal witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So both the state and the defense has rested. There are no rebuttal witnesses. At this time, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court has to prepare what is called a charge. That is a document that contains the law that will be given to you prior to you deliberating on the case, okay? And so the court is going to prepare that charge. After the charge is prepared, the state and the defense will make their closing arguments. After they make their closing arguments, then at that point, the case will be given to you for you to deliberate, okay? Now, I anticipate we need to have a charge conference. It's 4:30 right now. It's getting a little late. And so we're gonna have to ask that you will come back on tomorrow at 1:30. At that time, we'll do the things that I just spoke of, and then you'll have an opportunity to deliberate and render a verdict. Okay? So at this time, we're gonna ask everyone to please stand as the jury exit the courtroom. We'll be back here tomorrow. They can keep them. They can bring them with them. Just make sure y'all bring the badges back with y'all when y'all come back. Okay. Court will be in recess. Let's see.